we're living some childhood dreams, but there's a couple of groups that do this type of armored combat. We have, the foam stuff you may have seen before. It's usually for kids. Then we have kind of what we're doing now, but with something called rattan. It's like bamboo. And then we also have the steel fighting, which was what you saw today. So there's different groups that do this. There's clubs all around the country. If you or anyone you know might be interested, you can just Google armored combat and you'll come up with something kind of near where you guys are. But to tie it in a little bit with I think what you guys are talking about this weekend, we are well protected. The armor does its job. So it's not as dangerous as it looks. This is, real steel, but we're also wearing real steel armor. And it's padded appropriately just like they would have done, 500 to 600 years ago. So I can show you a little bit on David. He has a heater shield in his hand. At the top here, at the shoulder, you have spalders. You'll notice that there's lanes here so they can move as he tries to strike. He's got a Pauline and band brace. And then down here, he's got a brigandine like what I'm wearing. It's basically a coat of plates that he's got underneath here. We have a cuisse, armor to protect the thigh. Another Pauline here to protect the knee. We have greaves here to protect the shin. And then, of course, we protect our toes with something called sabatons. So to tie it in with, I think what you're wanting to get at this weekend is we are protected, and you can arm yourself with God as well to protect your whole body.
I did notice the salute system.
So, we talk about the salute. Traditionally, before the battle. Now, these battles that we do are historically fairly accurate. Medieval battles were actually a spectator sport back in the day, and there was a salute to the higher up, to the king or god, right knee for God, left knee for king, and then you salute the one who inspires you, your lady or family, and then you salute your worthy opponent. These duels were very rarely fought to the death, and like me and Dakota have fought a lot of times over the last couple of years. The salute is given to your worthy opponent because the glory and the honor in the fight is not in the win or loss. It's showing up on the field and doing battle. That's where the glory is, showing up and standing your ground for the honor. And you may win the day, you may lose the day. And it goes back and forth. I've lost battles to Dakota, vice versa. So it goes back and forth. To touch on the battle to armor before, what Dakota was talking about. You might notice that shields kind of went away at the end of battle, moved to a much larger weapon. Great sword, and the reason being, armor was so good as it got on in the ages, the 14th century, what we're wearing. You could not kill somebody with a full set of armor, with a sword. It just wasn't an ineffective weapon. So what did we do? We made the weapons bigger to get through more, cut down size. There you go.
That was profound. That line, the honor isn't showing up. We need a generation of men who will show up, don't we? Yeah. Question.